Okay, we are in section one again. This is the last topic for section one, the factor theorem. So if you think about factors, let's use 12 for instance. So if I have 12, the factors of 12, or two factors of 12 are 3 and 4. And the reason they're factors is because if I take 12 and I divide by 3, I get 4 with no remainder. Or if I divide 12 by 6, 12 is 6 times 2. If I divided 12 by 6, I would get 2 with no remainder. So if I divide something by a value and I don't get any remainder, that means that amount is a factor of that expression or that number or that polynomial. So that's the idea we're going to look at with the factor theorem. So let's take a polynomial. Let me get rid of this and we will look at a polynomial here. Let's say we had x to the third plus 5x squared minus 2x plus 6. And we want to know if x minus 1 is a factor of this polynomial. So the factor theorem says we can do synthetic division. So 1, 5, negative 2, and 6. And if our remainder is 0, then it is a factor. If the remainder is not 0, then it's not a factor. So bring down our 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add those together, we get 6. 1 times 6 is 6. We add negative 2 plus 6 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. And our remainder is 10. So this, because we got a remainder other than 0, this is not a factor. So again, basically, in order to be a factor, that should be an A right there. In order to be a factor, the remainder has to be 0 because it has to be able to divide into our expression or our polynomial an even number of times. Okay? Let's take a look at another one. Let's say we had x to the third plus 4x squared plus x minus 6. And we want to know if x minus 2 is a factor. So actually, let's make it x plus 2. Okay? So for our synthetic division, we've got 1, 4, 1, and negative 6. We use negative 2. So bring down our 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add those together, we get 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Add that together, we get negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And we get a remainder of 0. So because we got a remainder of 0, we can say, yes, this is a factor. So when you do these problems, there's only one choice for your answers. Either yes, it is a factor, or no, it is not a factor. Now, in WebAssign, which I know you're not doing for the supplement, but in WebAssign, you only get one chance to answer these. It's either a yes or it's a no. So be careful when you work this out. Double check your math and make sure that you're working it out carefully. Okay? Let's do another one. And that'll give us one other example to look at. So let's say we had 3x to the fourth minus 2x to the third plus 6x squared minus 8x plus 1. Okay? So there's our polynomial. There's a whole bunch of expressions here. But we want to know, is x minus 1 a factor? So we can set up our synthetic division. So we got 3, negative 2, 6, negative 8, and 1. And we're using 1. Again, you can put a little multiplication sign there to remind you that's what you're multiplying by. So we're going to bring down the 3. 1 times 3 is 3. That adds up to 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Those add up to 7. 1 times 7 is 7. That adds up to negative 1, and 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, so we end up with a 0. So, yes, this is a factor. So that's the factor theorem. Again, you're going to be asked if it's a factor or if it's not a factor, and your answer is just yes or no. So we have to get a remainder of 0 for it to be a factor. Okay. Be sure and work out the problems on the worksheet and send those to me. Again, send those to me from your worksheet problems, and we will look at our next topic in the next video. Have a good day, have a good weekend, have a good whatever time you're watching this. We'll talk to you later.